right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? Because I don't see my mic moving. Good. I think you can hear me over in Clubhouse. Thanks, family. Let me see if you can hear me here on YouTube. I hope you can. It is Thursday, y'all. I didn't see y'all yesterday. My apologies, y'all. Some days this campaign takes control and I'm out of control. My time is sometimes not my own. I just go with the flow. So we were not here yesterday, but thank you for joining me today. You know what time it is. It is 5 o'clock on the East Coast, and it is Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He can hear me good. Thank you, family. Wednesday, Thursday, right here from 5 o'clock to 5:30, right here on YouTube. I see you, family. Thank you for chiming in. I see you, Clubhouse. Thank you for joining me, Netta Jeb, on the stage. Ooh, it is. This campaign is heating up. We're into September. I told you that we really got about another 45 days between now and half of November, where this campaign is gonna. We got to prepare. I feel like I'm in preparation mode, just preparing. Making a lot of phone calls, trying to reach a lot of people, making some really good inroads. I feel really good about where we are. Just keep plugging away. We just keep plugging away every day. From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, it is all about this campaign. It's about this candidacy. Once the holidays are upon us, it's kind of difficult to get people to hear us, but I've been working on what we can do to be heard even over the holidays. And then starting the new year, we got to hit the ground. I mean, running, not walking, literally running in January. Trying to get my calendar together. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, but it's a campaign that I do believe we can win. So, I always like to start out with reparations information, but if you're following me right here on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification, and share. If you follow me right here in the Clubhouse space, I'll be with you at the half hour. You can chop it up over there. Let's dive in. I went down the reparations rabbit hole today. I kind of was like, I wanted to catch up on all my emails, what's going on in the reparations conversations. So I just kept going down the rabbit hole. So I do have quite a few. Did this thing just? It did. It better come back. Let me see, y'all. There it is. The NAACP, y'all. This is the NAACP in High Point, North Carolina. It says the High Point NAACP branch made it clear that the organization's leaders are not happy with a city council decision to create a commission to look into racial disparities. In a strongly worded statement, the NAACP said the council on Monday denied its request for a commission on reparations and opted instead to continue a legacy of indifference with the watered down version of what was being requested. Says, while some hailed this vote as a step forward, the city council's action is reminiscent of the classic reasoning and maneuvers used to deny African Americans their civil rights. It's in this article, it says the council voted to create a one High Point commission. They call it a one High Point commission without the word reparations attached to it. It says the NAACP asked the council to approve a resolution to put forth detailing how a commission will be formed and operate. But the council opted not to do this after questions were raised about whether the resolution, as presented, was on solid legal ground when it comes to the city's power to take action in the realm of reparations. Well, we all know reparations is not on a city level. They can't do it. On a state level, they can't do it. I don't know why the NAACP is all up in arms about them using the word reparations. Hell, call it something else. Get what you can get. But reparations, let's be clear, we need to reserve that word for our federal initiative. But they upset over in High Point. They upset. It says the council did direct city staff to collaborate with the NAACP to devise the structure of the commission it voted to create. So hell, they look like they're trying to work with them. It says the council did direct city staff to collaborate with the NAACP to devise the structure of the commission it voted to create. So they sound like they're trying to work with them, right? And I don't know. City officials indicated that would take about 4 weeks to accomplish. It says the city council assertively restated its opposition to the term reparations. I ain't mad at them. It says again, several members reiterated that they found the word offensive and perhaps another term could be used as a substitute. Now, the offensive part, I am mad at them. It's reparations is not offensive, but nevertheless, they don't have to use it. It says the NAACP said the council's inaction was reminiscent of local governments during the era of segregation that resisted calls to end racial discrimination. They called on the city to approve a reparations commission as presented to address a host of structural and institutional issues. So they mad over in High Point, North Carolina, the NAACP, because they didn't call it reparations. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping up with Congress. Again, I tell you, I went down the reparations rabbit hole. So Reverend Turner, y'all, Reverend Turner over in Oklahoma, he's in Tulsa. He is leaving the historic Vernon AME Church, and he will serve a new church in Baltimore. So this is the gentleman, y'all, the pastor that's been marching every week for reparations and what happened in Tulsa. So this is the Reverend Dr. Robert Turner. He's leaving Tulsa's historic Vernon AME Church and heading to Baltimore to serve at a new church. Turner says he starts at the new church Sunday, but will continue to be in Tulsa until December. He says he plans to commute on the weekends, and while here, he's going to continue to serve the community. He says Turner has pushed for reparations and equality for North Tulsa residents, survivors, and descendants for 4 years. He says during the past 3 years, he's marched every Wednesday to Tulsa City Hall to protest reparations, calling on the city to do the right thing for the 1921 race massacre survivors and descendants. Y'all, that sound like that man done wore out a lot of shoes. Every Wednesday, he was marching to the Tulsa City Hall in protest and trying to push Tulsa to do the right thing by those descendants. But he is now leaving Tulsa, Oklahoma, and headed to Baltimore. You know, he was in the fight. All we can do is thank him for doing what he could. It says Turner says he will continue to fight for reparations for Tulsa, but on a national level. It says Tulsa native Colby Ransom says he's ready to continue the fight for equality when Turner leaves. So he is passing the torch. So that's commendable. He didn't leave it. He making sure that somebody's there to carry the baton and keep the conversation alive. We can't forget 100 years later, and we're still fighting they still fighting for the descendants of Tulsa over in Oklahoma. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. So here we go. I found another article. I told you today, I just went down the reparations rabbit hole. I really did. I just want to, what else? I want to see it all today. So I feel like I'm caught up. It says the U.S., this is an article about the U.S. and how it snubbed the UN. They didn't show up, y'all. They didn't show up to the UN. The UN's commitment to stamp out racism. It says the United States was not present when global leaders pledged to double down on racism. It says world leaders at the UN General Assembly in New York on Wednesday. This was about a week ago, I think. Don't get my dates right. This is I think it was about a week ago. Recommitted efforts to stamp out racism. It says the commitment marked the anniversary of a 2001 South African anti-racism conference. It says UN members countries said that while progress had been made, there had been a rise in discrimination and violence against people of African heritage. It says, what did the UN say about racism? It said the assembly called for national institutions to adopt adequate reparations or satisfaction for people with African heritage in a meeting on racial justice. So the UN is pushing, and the United States did not show up. Yes. In the article, it says, why was there disagreement? It says the U.S. and Israel were two of 19 nations that did not attend. The United States and Israel were two of the 19 nations that did not attend. It said because the UN Anti-Racism Conference in 2001 had decided to include Palestine as a discriminated people. So they still mad about what happened in 2001. Let me suck my teeth. Likely story. Sound like they just no. They might, but I think it's all of that and then some. It says the U.S. only adopted the 2001 Anti-Racism Declaration, called the DDPA for short, when the U.S. and Israel walked out during the meeting in Durban, South Africa. So yeah, the U.S. and Israel decided they wasn't going to show up. Shaking my head, shaking my damn head, y'all. So here's our fellow activist, Mr. Ja'Cory Arthur, y'all, over in Louisville, Kentucky. Y'all, Louisville, Kentucky. We followed Ja'Cory as he made his rise into the Louisville City Council. 2020, 2019, 2020. We were right there with him. I'm so proud of Ja'Cory. Here's an article about the Louisville Council votes to support the federal reparations study. So their city council put forth a vote to support what's happening with our federal push for reparations. So I was happy to see that. So it says Louisville Metro Council approved a reparations resolution. It says, no, it won't actually set aside money for Black descendants of slaves, but it does support a resolution in the U.S. House of Representatives that seeks to create a commission to study the effects of slavery on descendants and recommend appropriate remedies. It says the council's resolution asked Congress to pass House Resolution 40. Of course, we know what that is, which was first introduced in 1989 by the former U.S. Rep. John Conyers. Would establish a 13-member commission to study how slavery and racial discrimination has continued to impact African Americans. Y'all, here's where we cringe, where it says impact African Americans. That should say descendants of chattel slavery in America, right? African Americans. That sound like all Black people. That ain't gonna fly. It says, in addition to recommending reparations, the commission would also decide how the federal government should apologize for its actions toward African slaves and their descendants. It says the Metro Council's resolution also asks that Congress and the President of the United States recognize the term Black American descendants of slavery instead of African American, while it studies reparations and make recommendations. Thank you. But Black, I'm still a little concerned. I get concerned when I see African, Black, people of color, minority. This make you want to scratch your head. It says HR 40 had never been passed by a House committee until this year, when the House Judiciary Committee voted to move forward with the bill in April. It says at the council meeting, one of the resolution sponsors, Ja'Cory Arthur, shout out Ja'Cory, says policy broke us, so policy must fix us. Policy hurt us, so policy must heal us. Policy did this, so policy must undo this. A quote from our very own Ja'Cory Arthur, who sits on the city council over in Louisville, Kentucky. I told you I just kept going down the reparations rabbit hole. I'm just gonna get them all out, y'all. I just kept going today. It says the future of Asheville reparations to Black community uncertain but imminent. So this says Asheville has joined the list of cities apologizing for urban renewal programs that damage Black neighborhoods. We've been following Asheville, y'all. Asheville, North Carolina. It says urban renewal programs consisted of the city buying homes and properties with the promise of something bigger, but many of these programs were not able to buy new or build homes. So this is what happened over in Lennon. I always bring up what happened in Lennon, Athens, Georgia. UGA decided they wanted to take this community, Lennon, that was all Black people, and they decided they wanted the property to build a parking deck, and they wanted to build a dormitory, push these people off their land. destroyed the entire community, gave them little or nothing, little or nothing. And today in 2021, y'all, the city of Athens, the monies that should be coming directly to the descendants of Lenintown, the monies are being funneled through the city to create broadband, to create a cultural center, and to give their city employees a raise. Every time I think about that, it makes me mad. It really just angers me that this is what happened. We see it here under urban renewal. They know it in this article. But then even today, how they bamboozle us, how we're getting bamboozled all over again. So urban renewal programs, they're talking about it right here. It says from the 1960s to the 1990s, y'all, urban renewal. From the 1960s to the 1990s, they was forcing people off their land. Says that forced many into public housing. If you go back to my YouTube page and you watch what, Miss Hattie tell the story about how her mom and daddy split up. She had to go live with a aunt who already had like 10 kids. They ended up, her parents split up. It was just terrible. Her family never recovered from that. It happened all the way up into the 1990s. It says that they were forced into public housing or they moved away. It says years later in 2020, the city passed a measure to establish a plan for reparations, y'all. So this is, it goes on to talk about permanent affordable housing. I hate it when I see affordable housing. America doesn't talk about home ownership anymore because they already know regular everyday folks can't afford to buy anymore. So when I see anything that says affordable housing, it angers me because this country is now a country of haves and have-nots. And if you don't have, you are have-not. And there it is. They always talk about permanent affordable housing. And this article talked about permanent affordable housing. Like that's something to be glorified. The article goes on to say, this is a quote from the mayor of Asheville. Her name is Esther Mannheimer, about reparations. She says, for most people, that probably means a cash payment. She says cities are limited. Cities cannot make cash payments to individuals in this way that some people think of as reparations. But what cities can do is adopt policies and implement programs that address past harms. I appreciate her. Let's be honest. Again, cities can't carry the burden of reparations. They can't. Let's move on to the next article. I told you, I just kept going down the reparations rabbit hole. I got two more. I'm just going to read them all to you. So here we go. An evangelical Christian argument for reparations. So there's this book, A Christian Call for Reparations. So it's a Christian call for repentance and repair, a reparations book. It says in the first paragraph of this article, it says in June, in the East Room of the White House, President Biden signed bipartisan legislation designating Juneteenth as a new federal holiday. And in his remark, he recalled the end of the long, hard night of slavery, the original sin that had left a lasting moral stain on the nation's soul. Now that's Joe Biden. It says one word Biden did not use to speak about slavery and its consequences was theft. Unlike more generic conceptualizations of slavery's impact, theft is a specific act that results in quantifiable imbalances. It says theft can be made right by symbolic gestures like theft cannot be made right by symbolic gestures like a federal holiday or a sign on the front lawn. It cannot be made right by feeling sorry. Theft requires tangible restitution. Let's say that again. Theft requires tangible restitution. And the authors Dick Kwan and Gregory Thomas want to talk about theft. Theft, they argue, is the most appropriate descriptor of America's racial history. It's therefore the most relevant context for white Christians seeking a scriptural path toward racial healing. So this article talks about the book, and it says the first 3 chapters make the case that white supremacy is a real phenomenon and that its enduring effect has been multi-generational theft. So this book, y'all, Reparations, is a Christian call for repentance and repair. So for those that we got to talk Bible, we got to speak Bible, we got to speak the word for them to hear why reparations is important. This may be a tool for your arsenal, y'all. This is again, reparations, a Christian call for repentance and repair. Because I just kept going down the reparations rabbit hole. We probably won't even get into the bills, y'all. I'm just going to bring y'all up to speed on all the stuff that I just kept reading today. Governor Murphy misses the moment by refusing to say the word reparations. So this happened on the 26th. This was an article from Sunday. It says Governor Murphy misses the moment by refusing to say the word reparations. I think this is New Jersey. It says last week, Governor Phil Murphy missed a critical opportunity to make Black lives really matter in the Garden State. It says with the widely supported bill pending in the state legislature that would establish a New Jersey reparations task force, the governor instead signed an executive order establishing a wealth disparity task force to examine the causes and remedies of New Jersey's racial wealth disparities. He says, while this order lays out some of the necessary work ahead, it misses the moment by failing to take the bold action the moment calls for. It fails to say the word reparations. See, I just want us to stop. Again, High Point, NAACP over there angry. Now, these people here in New Jersey angry because the governor didn't say reparations. Let Biden say reparations, y'all. Let's get Biden to say reparations. Let's get Kamala Harris to say reparations. These governors in these states and these cities, they can't. Why are we making an issue of this? Nevertheless, the article says it does not seek to establish reparations for the enslavement of Black people in New Jersey. It says, why does that matter? It says, we're living in a moment of racial reckoning that has awakened America and New Jerseyans to the deep and underlying cracks of structural racism in our entire foundation. It says cracks that have erupted into earthquakes in Black communities. It says, at this moment, Governor Murphy was called on to lead us courageously in searching conversations about how those cracks can be traced back directly to New Jersey's original sin and its lingering stain of subsequent policies intentionally designed to subjugate Black communities. So leave him alone. The man got an executive order to establish a wealth disparity task force. Black people we're gonna be in there somewhere. He can't only do what he can do, and reparations is federal. All right, 2 more articles, and I'm gonna close us out. It's my Thursday, which is my Friday, y'all. It has been a long week, but 2 more articles. It says several cities across the country are researching ways to develop reparations programs. So this is talking about, it says local governments across the country are working with cities to come up with ways to bring various reparations programs to Black people. It says, as cities take up the cause, the case for reparation has become a local issue as well as a federal one. So it just goes into all the cities that are like Evanston and then the mayor in Los Angeles. So it goes into all these cities that are taking up this baton for reparations. But I wanted to highlight, of course, our very own Dr. Darity. He says, William Darity, A. Darity Jr., an economist and an economics professor at Duke University, contends that local programs can never account for the massive amount owed to Black Americans, and a federal mandate is required. Says there are a number of detours away from what I would call true reparations, and one of those are these alleged local programs. See, Dr. Darity don't like all these little programs, y'all, we trying to put together and call them reparations. This is Darity, who has extensively studied reparations, has argued that an adequate program will come with a price tag of $11.2 trillion for an estimated 45 million Americans who make up around 13% of the U.S. population. It says, according to Darity, a robust program of this scope can only exist on the federal level. It says many local leaders claim that cities and municipalities that create programs can help to accelerate the enactment of a federal reparations bill. Again, we pushing from the top, we pushing from the bottom. I get it, but ultimately this is a federal initiative. All right, this is my last one, y'all. I'm sorry. I told you I just kept going down the reparations rabbit hole today. I just didn't stop. So we'll get back to our bills on Monday. But here's my last one. It says, Lieutenant Governor joins the Tallahassee's Reparations Advisory Committee. So the Lieutenant Governor joins the Tallahassee Reparations Advisory Committee. This is over in Oklahoma. It says, joining a group of U.S. mayors in pursuing a path to reparations. It says Oklahoma's historically all-black town of Tallahassee has enlisted Lieutenant Governor Matt Pennell to join its advisory commission. So the Lieutenant Governor is listening in. We'll take it. We need all hands on deck, all ears. We need any and everybody who is willing to help us in this justice claim. And it is a justice claim. This is our fight. This is our fight. And I believe it is going to happen, and we're going to live to see it. I get excited because I really honestly feel like this is our civil rights movement. This is this generation's civil rights movement. We just got to get the churches on board the same way they supported back in the 60s. They undergirded the efforts. We got to get our churches to engage. We got to get them to see that they have to have a voice in this. We need them to preach sermons. We need them to educate the members. We need our churches to undergird us in this process. And they're quiet. I don't think it's that they don't believe. I don't think that. I think they don't know enough about the history. And some people are like, well, maybe it's their 501c3 status. They don't want to get into but I mean, we were always political. The churches, we were always political. So I don't know how how it's okay that they're not engaged with this. That just doesn't sit well with me. So again, we have a website. It's called reparationssunday.com. reparationssunday.com. Go to the website. If you know of a church where you got a pastor who gets it, who will stand with us, ask them to be a part of it. Ask them to join and put their name on the website, and let's collaborate with these churches and let's help them to help us and help our people. Yeah, we just got so much work to do. I want to thank you guys. We are at the half hour. Keeping Up with Congress, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, right here in the Clubhouse space. I'm going to come over to the Clubhouse room until the top of the hour. I am Tamara Johnson Shealey. I got to pass the collection plate. Go to the website. Please donate, y'all. This is it. This is it. I don't know if this is it. I won't be running again. So we got to get, we got to win in May. We got to win in November. This is it. So let's make it happen. Let's make it do what it do. I believe. So I will see you guys on Monday. I'll have some bills Monday. I had bills today, but I just kept going down the reparations rabbit hole. I couldn't stop. I was intrigued by everything I saw specific to reparations. So I will see you Monday. See you Monday, y'all. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealey, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamara4georgia.com. www.tamara4georgia.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern